Hey you guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be creating this look using the new Morphe 35R palette. Oh my gosh, I love this palette. Let me show you really quick. So my favorite part about this palette is it's something that I'm more likely to grab than my 350 palette just because there's so many mattes, and that's what I tend to use on a day-to-day basis. Obviously, I could not use some of the shimmers in this tutorial, but I feel like this palette is so good to own. So many colors that would look so great on so many different eye colors and skin tones. The quality is incredible. I love Morphe palettes so much, and I think it's only like $22, I believe, for this entire palette. It's amazing. Before we get into the tutorial, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. Join the family. If you're new here, welcome. Hi, my name is Allie and I love makeup, so you should be sure to join the family. Also, if you're already a subscriber of mine, just make sure to hit that little bell. That will just make sure that you won't miss a video every time I upload. So yeah, if you guys own the 35R palette, feel free to grab it and we'll get ready together. And with that being said, let's get started.
Okay, so we're going to start out with the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer as an eyeshadow primer. I just spread it out with my concealer brush and then flattened it down even more with my finger. And then I'm just going to go ahead and set that with the lightest shade in the Morphe palette, the lightest matte shade. This will really help create a nice powdery base for all the eyeshadows to blend on. So I'm going to go in with that like rose toned shade. It's a little bit, I think it's like one of the lightest shades as well. This is going to be our transition shade. This palette is so pretty, you guys. So I'm just buffing that into the crease and then making sure that it's blended out really nicely, a little bit above the crease as well as a transition shade. So now I'm going to go into this mauve color and I'm just going to deepen up the crease a little bit using that same brush, just making sure to blend it into that first shade as well. That's always the key with eyeshadow, just blend, blend, blend until you get the desired depth that you want in your crease. So I just kept going until it looked like I wanted it to, and then I'm going to go into this beautiful cranberry shade. And I'm just focusing that on the outer half of my eye, dragging it into the crease a little bit, and then kind of dragging it all over. I guess I kind of ended up putting it on most of my lid. It's more than half, so just kind of drag the rest of the product over into the inner corner of the eye. It'll be covered up by another shadow later, so it doesn't really matter if it looks perfect, but I just wanted to start out with a little bit more depth there, and then blend it into the other shadows that I used before. So I'm going to go in with this really beautiful gold shade, and I took my finger. You can either use your finger or a wet eyeshadow brush. I feel like that helps with the pigment payoff the best, and so I just decided to use my finger and just patted the color on the inner half of my lid and then used the excess product to kind of dab over the outer half of my lid, if that makes sense. So the pigment is concentrated in the inner half, but it also kind of ombres or fades out onto the other half of the eye, if that makes sense. Yes, okay. And then I just blended that out with the same brush, and I wanted it to be a little bit more intense than it was that first round, so I went ahead and added a little bit more with my finger after that as well. So I'm going to take a really pretty matte purple shade, and I'm just going to add a little bit more depth on the outer third of my eye. So I went ahead and just patted that on the outer third, kind of working it into the lash line and then working it into the crease as well, just to create more depth on the outer corner. So now I'm just blending in the colors a little bit more just to make sure everything's nice and blended. And I'm not too worried about making a mess because I'm just going to clean it up right here with a makeup wipe. This is a really good trick to make your eyeshadow look flawless even though it was messy before. That's why I like to do eyeshadow before my foundation sometimes if it's a smoky eye, because you can do that and clean it up and you're good to go. So I'm going to create a wing liner out of a dark brownish purple shade in the palette. I think it's the darkest shade in the palette, but this is really pretty, and you just kind of follow the line that you created with the makeup wipe for the wing, so it makes it even easier to create a wing liner, and then kind of drag it into the inner corner of the eye. For mascara, I'm going to go in with the Tarte Lights Camera Lashes Mascara on the top lashes only right now. And I'm just going to use, I think I did like 2 coats because it's a pretty glam look, so just pop on 2 coats of your favorite mascara. And then I went in with the Ardell 162 lashes and I cut them in half, and I used the inside half on the outside of my eye, if that makes sense. And I just popped those on with some duo glue, and it just kind of helps elongate the eyes. I really like how this looks. And I went and moisturized my face with the Embryolisse primer slash moisturizer. And for foundation, I'm using the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. I'm just blending that out with my Aesthetica Beauty Sponge. This is a really good full coverage foundation, and since we're going full glam, I thought, why not? So I'm going to go in with the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer now to conceal and highlight my face, under my eyes, down the bridge of my nose, basically down the whole center of my face, just to brighten and highlight that area. And then I'm going to blend that out with the exact same sponge. Next, I'm going to take my travel size Laura Mercier translucent powder, and I'm going to dip my Aesthetica beauty sponge into that and set my under eyes with it. This is the exact same sponge that I used, using a damp sponge, not a soaking wet sponge, but a damp sponge to set your under eyes. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen that be done before, but if you haven't tried it, I highly recommend trying it because it really ensures like a creaseless finish. I also kind of set the entire face with a fluffy brush, and then now we're going to go back into the Morphe palette. I'm using that transition shade underneath my lower lash line to kind of start to define that. And I'm going to take that pretty cranberry shade really close to my lash line just to kind of deepen that up and make it pop a little bit more and make it look cohesive with the top shadows as well. So now I'm going in with that same gold shadow that we used on our lid, and I'm kind of focusing that on the inner half of my eye where it is on the top lid, and I'm just blending that out and then popping on some mascara on the bottom lashes. I'm just using my same mascara that I used before. Now I'm going into my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer to bronze slash contour my face. This is a great bronzer because it like is kind of cool tone, so it works as a contour and bronzer. Normally you wouldn't want to use a bronzer as a contour, but this one works for me. So now I'm going to go in with the Too Faced I Will Always Love You blush. This is my new favorite blush of all time. I love it so much. And I'm going to go in with the Kylie Kylighter in the shade Salted Caramel as my highlight. You guys, I realized I forgot to highlight my inner corner and my brows, or underneath my brows, like my brow bone. I never forget that. So you can add that if you want to, but I totally forgot in this tutorial. So I just was highlighting my entire face, all the high points, and now I'm going in with the Colourpop Ultra Matte X Lippie Stix. This is in the shade Hotline. After I put Hotline all over the lips, I took another shade called Daydream, and I just kind of contoured the outside of my lips, and it really helped to make my lips look more full, and it blended really nicely. The two colors together are gorgeous. So then I set the whole face together with the Milani Make It Dewy setting spray, and that completes the look, you guys. I hope you like it.
Thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial. Hopefully you guys like this look as much as I do. Once again, make sure to hit that subscribe button, join the family, you know. We have lots of fun here. I post videos every single week, so be sure to subscribe. And with that being said, I will see you guys in my next video. Love you. Bye!